I was born on a crisp fall Thanksgiving Day, November 27, 1975, to Estella and Frank. My family had just sat down to eat dinner when my mom said I must have smelled the food and decided to make an appearance. My dad worked as a food manager at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Washington, D.C., and my mom worked at Holy Cross Hospital and Medical Records in Silver Spring, Maryland. We lived in College Park, Maryland for the majority of my childhood. I had such an awesome childhood. My sister, her friends, and I went bike riding, we explored the woods, and we would spend hours outside skating. One of my happiest and most vivid memories from my childhood was biking to the local candy store called M&M. We used to buy packs upon packs of Now and Laters, then we would bike home, melt them on a space heater until they were all mashed together just like one big burger. It sounds gross, I know, but they were so delicious we couldn't get enough of them. Meanwhile, my parents' relationship was starting to deteriorate. Unfortunately, they fought constantly and they just couldn't seem to agree on things. So, after 20 some odd years of marriage, they decided to get a divorce. My sister and I lived with my mom and we moved into a townhouse in Silver Spring, Maryland. It was very sad though, because I loved my dad and we hardly saw him anymore after that. I was a very shy kid and definitely was not a social butterfly. However, I have always loved kids and enjoyed being around them, and was thrilled when I got my first babysitting job at the age of 15. In high school, I remember spending weekends at my aunt's house, where afternoons were spent hanging out with my cousins and their friends. We used to have so much fun playing basketball and hanging around at the park and just talking. It was awesome. Every weekend we would walk across the street to this huge mall called Prince George's Mall, and we would buy bags upon bags of runts at the candy store. After that, we would head to the accessory store called Claire's. In school, I always did very well and was always on the honor roll and got great grades. I graduated high school at the age of 16 in 1993. Even though I got good grades, I wasn't too keen about going to a big college, so I went to a community college in Rockville, Maryland. I majored in early childhood education and got great experience by working at their daycare center. I loved the kids and they loved me. I also loved my coworkers. College was very instrumental as it's where I met my first real boyfriend and his best friend, which would eventually become my husband. My boyfriend was in the church and he is the one who God used to draw me to himself. I joined his church and eventually became a youth leader, which is what allowed me to spend more time with his best friend. My boyfriend and I broke up after a 2-year relationship, and about 4 months later, his best friend and I began seeing each other. Weird, I know. Seeing as we already knew each other, or so I thought, we had a whirlwind courtship and we got married August 28, 1998 at the Rockville Courthouse. He was a police officer and he worked crazy long hours. In the beginning, we spent lots of time together and talked about how we would raise all of our kids that we were going to have together. I always dreamed about being a mother and was so very happy when I welcomed my first child, Grace Ariana, into the world September 11, 1999. As all my attention was focused on her and my husband worked nonstop, because he was never really a family man, only when it suited him. Our marriage became more and more estranged. However, I loved being a mom and desperately wanted more kids. I was beyond ecstatic when baby number 2, Alexis Noel, entered the world January 29, 2003. In August of 2008, my husband said he had done his part and he was done, so he moved out. I was a stay-at-home mom who also homeschooled her kids, so I had to scramble and bamble to figure something out. I became a full-time nanny, and I was very fortunate because the people who I worked for allowed me to bring my girls. I had so many awesome families who I worked for, but the cold weather was extremely painful. We always loved Florida and went there yearly to go to Disney World. In November of 2015, we packed up our stuff and moved to Port Charlotte, Florida with my mom. I continued to homeschool my girls and nanny at the same time. We became involved in Lex's new gym, and Grace loved doing hip-hop and drama at Higher Ground. I always wanted to have more children though. This part, for legal reasons, I can't really elaborate, but we welcomed Willow into the family February 6th, Tori came February 10th, and Elena came April 12th, 2017. I love my crazy life, although it can be extremely hectic, but it's our life. Life is the SMJ'S. Thanks for coming along for the crazy ride.